For years, I stayed in the shadows, writing, planning, leading. But when my brother was called on stage to receive the medal meant for my operation, something in me cracked. The final straw? The commander glanced at me from the crowd, paused, and said something that made the entire hall turn silent. "My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 29, and I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where my family always saw my brother Jake as the hero. He was the Air Force pilot, the one with medals pinned to his chest. I was the nerdy sister, a civilian analyst at Stratcom Defense, a contractor for military operations. They thought I just crunched numbers. They didn't know I'd designed a mission that saved an entire unit, until it all came out on live TV. It started last summer at our family's 4th of July barbecue in Albuquerque. The backyard was filled with cousins, neighbors, and Dad's old military buddies, all fawning over Jake. He'd just returned from a deployment, and Mom was showing off his latest commendation. "Sarah, tell everyone what you do," Dad said, half joking. I shrugged. "I analyze data for Stratcom." Jake laughed, tossing a burger on the grill. "She means she's a desk jockey. I'm the one out there risking it." Everyone chuckled, but it stung. I wasn't just pushing papers, I was saving lives from behind a screen. At Stratcom, I worked on mission planning, designing operations for high-stakes rescues. My latest project was a drone-based extraction plan for a unit trapped in a hostile zone. I'd spent months mapping terrain, coding drone paths, and coordinating with ground teams. My boss, Tom Carver, signed off on it, but never mentioned my name in briefings. When the mission succeeded, saving 25 soldiers, Tom pitched it to the Air Force as his strategy. Jake, who'd flown a support role, got the credit and a medal. I got a pat on the back and a "good job, team." I could have lived with that. I didn't need medals. But when Jake came home, boasting about his mission at dinner, I felt the crack. "It was intense," he said, describing the operation I'd planned. "My calls saved those guys." Mom and Dad beamed. I gripped my fork, silent. He didn't know I'd written every step he'd followed. I'd never told him, thinking it didn't matter. But watching him soak up praise for my work, that was too much. I started digging. I pulled every email I'd sent Tom with the mission plan. Detailed schematics, drone algorithms, risk assessments, all time-stamped. I found meeting notes where Tom called it Sarah's concept before claiming it himself. My coworker, Alex, who'd helped with testing, confirmed I'd led the project. "Tom's a leech," Alex said over coffee. "You need to call this out." I nodded, but a direct complaint would get me sidelined. Tom had friends in high places. I needed a bigger stage. The Air Force was hosting a televised award ceremony in Washington, D.C. to honor the mission. Jake was getting a Distinguished Flying Cross, and Tom was invited as the strategic lead. I wasn't on the guest list. Support staff rarely were. But I called Alex, who had a contact at the Pentagon, Lieutenant Colonel Maria Lopez. I sent her my evidence. I designed the mission Jake and Tom are being honored for. I want to be at the ceremony. Maria replied, "This is serious. Get to D.C., I'll make it happen." I didn't tell my family or Tom I was going. I let them think I was back in Albuquerque, filing reports. I spent weeks preparing a presentation, slides showing my algorithm, emails proving my role, and a video of the drone simulation I'd coded. I wasn't going to beg for credit. I'd show the world who really saved those soldiers. Hey, if you're hooked on this story, hit that subscribe button for Revenge Line. We bring you epic family drama and revenge tales every week. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Stay tuned, because Sarah's about to make waves. The Air Force award ceremony in Washington, D.C. was a week away, and I was in Albuquerque, building my case to reclaim the credit for the mission that saved 25 soldiers. My brother Jake, the decorated pilot, was set to receive a Distinguished Flying Cross for his role, while my boss, Tom Carver, planned to bask in the glory as the strategic lead at Stratcom Defense. They didn't know I, Sarah Mitchell, had designed the drone-based extraction plan they were being honored for. My family saw me as the desk jockey, sister. Tom saw me as expendable support staff. But I was done staying in the shadows. The live TV broadcast would be my stage. I spent days tightening my evidence. I had emails to Tom with every detail of the mission, drone paths, supply drop coordinates, risk models, all time-stamped months before the operation. One stood out. Tom's reply, "Sarah, this is brilliant. I'll take it from here." Take it? He'd taken it straight to the Air Force, slapping his name on it. I also had server logs from Stratcom Systems showing I'd coded the algorithm over a year of late nights. My coworker, Alex, who'd tested the drones with me, signed a statement confirming my role. It was ironclad, but I needed to get it to the right people without tipping off Tom or Jake. I called Lieutenant Colonel Maria Lopez, my Pentagon contact, to confirm my plan. "I've got you on the guest list," she said. "But Tom's presenting first and Jake's getting the medal. You sure you want to do this on live TV?" I nodded, though she couldn't see me. "It's the only way. They need to see the truth." Maria didn't push back. "Send me your evidence. I'll make sure General Hayes sees it before the ceremony." I emailed her the full package. Emails, logs, Alex's statement, and a video demo of my algorithm in action. She replied, "This is explosive. Be ready." Back at Stratcom, I played the part of the quiet analyst. Tom was prepping for DC, practicing his speech in his office, unaware I'd be there. "Sarah, can you book my hotel?" he asked, barely looking up. I smiled. "Already done." He nodded, oblivious, while I saved screenshots of his calendar, where he'd marked the mission planning meetings as Sarah's updates. His own sloppiness was my weapon. I needed an ally at the ceremony, so I looped in Alex fully. We met at a diner in Albuquerque, away from prying eyes. "You're going to crash their party," he said, grinning over his coffee. "What's the plan?" I leaned in. I let Tom and Jake take the stage, soak up the applause. Then I step in with the truth, on camera. Alex whistled. Bold. If Tom fights back, what then? I showed him my presentation slides, including Tom's email claiming my work. He won't have a leg to stand on. I also prepped for my family. Mom and Dad were flying to DC for Jake's big moment, proud as ever. They'd texted me, assuming I was staying in Albuquerque. "Wish you could be there, Sarah," Mom wrote. I didn't reply. They'd mocked my job at Thanksgiving, laughing with Jake about his heroics. I wanted them to see me in DC, not as the nerdy sister, but as the one who'd saved lives. I didn't tell them I was coming. Surprise was my edge. The night before my flight, I went over my presentation one last time. It was simple but devastating. Slides showing the mission's timeline, my emails to Tom, and a live demo of the drone algorithm. I'd end with a line about integrity, letting Jake and Tom feel the weight of their theft. My suit, a sharp gray blazer and skirt, was pressed, my laptop backed up, my nerves steady. I called Maria one last time. "Everything set?" she asked. "Down to the last slide," I said. She laughed. "Good. This is going to shake things up." I landed in DC the next morning, checking into a hotel near the Pentagon. I ran into Jake in the lobby, his uniform gleaming with medals. "Sarah?" he said, surprised. "What are you doing here?" I shrugged, keeping it vague. "Work stuff." He smirked. "Don't trip over any cables." I smiled, letting him think he'd landed the jab. Tomorrow, on live TV, he'd see who was really in charge. Hey, if you're loving this revenge story, smash that subscribe button for Revenge Line. We drop epic family drama and takedowns every week. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Stay tuned because Sarah's about to drop a bombshell. The Air Force Awards ceremony in Washington, D.C. was a sea of uniforms and flashing cameras, broadcast live on a military network. I, Sarah Mitchell, stood at the back of the packed auditorium, my laptop loaded with proof that I'd designed the drone-based mission that saved 25 soldiers. My brother Jake, the celebrated pilot, was about to receive a Distinguished Flying Cross for his role, while my boss, Tom Carver, basked in the spotlight as the strategic lead from Stratcom Defense. My family thought I was just a desk jockey from Albuquerque. Today, on live TV, they'd see the truth, and it would hit like a shockwave. Pulsey. Colonel Maria Lopez, my Pentagon contact, gave me a nod from across the room. She'd ensured I was on the guest list and had shown my evidence, emails, code logs, and a mission demo to General Amanda Hayes, who was overseeing the ceremony. My suit was sharp, my presentation ready. I watched as Jake took the stage, his uniform gleaming, accepting his medal to thunderous applause. Mom and Dad in the front row beamed with pride. Tom stood nearby, smiling smugly, ready to give his speech. I waited, my heart steady. Tom stepped to the podium, launching into his talk. "This mission was a triumph of strategy," he said, projecting slides I'd created. "My team at Stratcom built a system that redefined rescue operations." The crowd clapped, but General Hayes leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. She'd seen my evidence. When Tom finished, she stood. "Before we continue," she said, her voice cutting through the room, "we have another perspective to hear." She looked at me, pausing. "Mrs. Sarah Mitchell, please join us." The auditorium went silent. Jake's head snapped toward me, his metal glinting. Tom's face drained of color. Mom gasped, clutching Dad's arm. I walked to the stage, my heels echoing, and took the podium. "I'm Sarah Mitchell," I said, my voice clear on the live feed. "I designed the drone extraction mission you're honoring today. Every route, every algorithm, mine." I clicked my laptop, projecting an email from Tom. "Sarah's concept is brilliant. I'll present it." The crowd murmured, cameras zooming in. "These logs show I coded the system over a year," I continued, showing timestamps. "This demo?" I played a video of the drone simulation, the same one that saved 25 lives. Was my design. I looked at Jake. My brother flew the mission, and I'm proud of him, but he followed my plan. Jake's jaw tightened. Tom stared at the floor. General Hayes stepped forward. "Mrs. Mitchell, is this true?" I nodded. "I have the evidence. I'm ready to answer any questions." A colonel asked, "Can you walk us through the algorithm?" I did, explaining how it optimized supply drops under hostile conditions. The generals nodded, some taking notes. General Hayes turned to Tom. "Mr. Carver, explain yourself." Tom stammered, "It was a team effort." But the crowd's boos drowned him out. Hayes raised a hand. "Mrs. Mitchell is in charge of this program now. We trust her expertise." The applause was deafening. Jake approached me after, his face red. "Sarah, why didn't you say anything?" I looked at him, calm. "You took the credit and called me a desk jockey. I let my work speak." Mom and Dad tried to hug me, tears in their eyes, but I stepped back. "You didn't believe in me either," I said. They had no reply. Tom was escorted out, his contract terminated. Stratcom promoted me to lead analyst, and the Pentagon requested my algorithm for global use. The mission's success was all over the news, with my name attached. Back in Albuquerque, my family's pride turned to awkward silence at the next dinner. I didn't need their applause anymore. I'd earned the world's. Hey, if you loved this epic takedown, smash that subscribe button for Revenge Line. We drop the best family drama and revenge stories every week. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Thanks for joining us. I left the ceremony with my head high, my name on every screen. They thought I was just support. Now they knew I was the one who saved the day.